We are also following a looming strike deadline at this hour as negotiations between Unifor and Fiat Chrysler continue. The union says it will set up picket lines in just over an hour if there's no deal by midnight. Our Nick Boisvert is following negotiations for us. He joined us live from the Sheridan Centre where those talks continue. Nick.
Well, Mike, Unifor and Fiat Chrysler pushing these negotiations very close to this midnight deadline right now, at which point the union says close to 10,000 of its workers in Brampton, Etobicoke and Windsor will walk off the job tonight if a deal cannot be reached. Now, last we heard from Unifor at about 8 o'clock, the union rep said that they had made some progress at the negotiating table, but that some major hurdles still remained, specifically that Fiat Chrysler would not commit to pay raises and it wouldn't commit to new investments, things that Unifor says it achieved with in its negotiations with GM just last month. So we'll see if anything changes during their next update. We're expecting that in about 15 minutes, and we'll come to you live with an update when we know what happens.
Okay, looking forward to checking.
We'll be coming to you now at 11:30, Mike. I think we just got an update, so we'll come back to you hopefully before the show's out. Mike.
Okay, we'll look forward for any updates. Thanks, Nick. A rally today at Yonge Dundas Square was part of a coordinated Indigenous Day of Action taking place right across the country. Activists trying to put pressure on.
You can see you're right there in the room. What can you tell us? I don't see anyone behind you.
And that's right, Andrea. We're waiting for people to come in and take their spots up here because we're expecting an update any time now from National Unifor President Jerry Dias. Now, he's set to be speaking to the media shortly, hoping for some sort of update and some sort of announcement as to whether they've reached an agreement or not. Again, that deadline only about a half hour away. The last time we got a media update of some sort, they did say that there were major hurdles that they were running into at the bargaining table.
Okay, Tracy, we know that GM was the first automaker that Unifor negotiated with. They were successful with Unifor. Some of the concessions that they got from the company was not to move manufacturing out of the country and, in fact, bring it back from Mexico and the southern U.S. to Ontario. Do we have any idea what some of the sticking points are with the Fiat Chrysler talks?
You know what, Fiat Chrysler talks with Unifor. Well, Unifor, the union, is hoping for somewhat of a similar agreement that was reached with GM. They were able to secure some sort of investment, and significant investment, that is, in the plants that are here in Ontario, securing many jobs that were perhaps at risk when some of those assembly lines were set to end in a couple of years. They're hoping for that same sort of security here, investments in Ontario plants and Canadian plants for Fiat Chrysler as well, so that there's security for those workers. They also want some sort of economic agreement as well in terms of wage increases. Now, the deal that was struck with GM, they were able to secure 2% wage increases over the next 4 years, and they're hoping for something similar to that, if not more. So they haven't given many updates as to what exactly they are looking for in this case in terms of those details. But again, we're hoping to hear more of that in just a little bit when Jerry Dias comes here to take the podium.
You know, Tracy, you've been working on the story all day. I know you filed a report. Why don't we go to that now and await them to arrive and talk to us?
Nearly 10,000 Fiat Chrysler workers are prepared to walk off the job if a deal is not reached by midnight.
I do want to express that our union is concerned about the direction of the employer's proposal.
Unifor says their top priority is securing significant investments for Fiat Chrysler's Canadian plants in Brampton, Etobicoke and Windsor, and they won't accept anything short of that. They want a pattern agreement similar to the one negotiated with General Motors last month, which included 2% pay increases over the next 4 years.
When I say that there is no agreement yet regarding the pattern, this includes investment commitment, wages, the new higher progression grid, and other economics. These outstanding issues are of grave concern to all of us and to our members.
Ford is up next at the bargaining table. They are the last of the Detroit 3 automakers to go through contract negotiations. Now, we don't know if this is a sign as to what kind of update they're going to give us, but they have pushed back the media updates. As you can see on that board behind us, actually, we were supposed to get an update at 10 p.m., which was then pushed to 10:30 p.m. and then 11:15 p.m. And the last update that we got was it was going to be pushed back to 11:30, which brings us to now. Now, no sign of them yet coming down the hallway here at the Sheridan Centre just yet, but we are expecting that update any time now. And of course, we will have that for you a little bit later on in the show. Back to you.
Thanks, Tracy. So we're about 25 minutes away from the strike deadline. Tracy Tong standing by for us, and of course, as soon as she has something, we will go back to her at the hotel.